is desperate. His beautiful mind together. He's a living TikTok post that thinks that if he just does one more bad take on current events, he's finally gonna become famous. Will his guests keep him on track? Will he deservedly get canceled, or will this show crash and burn as he loses control once again? Welcome to Meltdown Island.
It's DUSTiN!
I know everything that DUSTiN is saying sounds totally delusional.
DUSTiN, where are you going? Just trust me!
DUSTiN, you slow down. DUSTiN.
DUSTiN, you're a goddamn Einstein.
DUSTIN's right. You're a certified genius.
I think that's a great idea, Mike.
Thank you, DUSTiN.
If you look up the word tempting in the dictionary, you will find a picture of Sean.
Looks like Jawa is stuck between a rock and a Sean place.
I think it's because Sean is very built and he's sexy as hell. I'm going to sleep next to Sean Smith.
Nothing feels good when you're feeling bad. Nothing makes sense when you're feeling mad. Don't go around feeling sad, cause everybody's going around saying that you're crazy, that you're lazy, and you're unmotivating. To the people that surround you in society, they control you in your mind with anxiety. You gotta break free from that mindset. Break free, break free. Break free to explode. Break free to expose all of those emotional vulnerability and the complexities of your mind. And together we will find that the sun keeps shining on the other side. You know the sun keeps shining on the other side. The sun keeps shining on the other side of the rain cloud, of the storm clouds in your eyes, in your eyes. There's a place I know we can go and stay a while. Welcome to Meltdown Island. Welcome to Meltdown Island. To Meltdown, we can roll that down together. Welcome to Meltdown Island. Meltdown Island. Meltdown Island. Down Island. But you don't like it now. Island, island. Meltdown Island. Meltdown Island. Meltdown Island. Meltdown Island. What's up, Meltdown Island? Welcome back to the island, boys.
All right, everyone gather up at the beach.
Hey,
Time for a meeting.
to the beach meeting. What? Can I get a little bit of what?
got me fired up right now. Oh, you can hear that? Woo!
You sound a little distorted.
Thank you.
You sound a little more bass heavy.
Do I? How about now?
Yeah, still.
Still. Hello!
You sound like you're a giant.
Really?
Oh, now you sound better.
This guy.
No, there it is again.
You're a blur machine today.
You're a blur machine.
Shit! Do they want us to upgrade our streams? Is that what's going on, Sean?
I just realized I'm not plugged in. Let me go plug into the internet.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Meltdown Island. We used to be a professional show, and now we're just a bunch of clowns, run by clowns, written by clowns. We are the new AI. What's AI? I don't know. Ooh, reality check. Outstanding. Point fire. Where was you last week? All I wanted to do was talk about a little bit of Canada fires and get this straight from the Canada source. You my Canada crack. Point fire. I don't know why I'm slapping my wrist or a thing. You don't do crack into your veins. Not that I know. I'm just saying. Tried to use the phone. It didn't work. There's Sean. Sean's back. Oop. Sean, how are you?
About the fires? Point fire thinks it was arson?
Well, I heard that at one point. If you want to look it up, Sean, there's a satellite photo of all of the fires lighting at the same time, starting to in different parts, and it's just like you see the smoke starting to rise, and then the cloud or the wind starts carrying it. I can hear that, Sean. That's super gorgeous. My voice is like butter. I didn't realize you were so lucky to hear it every week. The wind starts carrying it.
You are,
I can hear that, Sean. That's super gorgeous.
You sound fine, but coming through mine, you're still distorted a little.
Do you think it has anything to do with maybe your earbud or ear hole?
What? Oh, no, look. Hold on. I'll be right back.
Okay, buddy. All right. This is great because this makes it time for me to notice I had these headphones on no one asked about with double headphones because I was trying to do a bit.
I would have.
I know you would have, but did you?
No, I didn't.
Love that guy. My favorite band has released their new song, their new single, Sean, and it is my favorite song that I have ever seen live, and it's "The Smile," which is the new Radiohead. And Sean, when I tell you that it's just released today, and I was listening to it, I was going to go like this. But I didn't have time. Had too many cameras. Had too much ambition in the last 10 minutes of before the show.
Yeah, sadly, that's when all the ambition hits.
Yeah, well, you think it would hit the day before, maybe even an hour before.
Not at all.
Not at all. But I did start listening to it, and boy, oh boy, does it sound good. I am so excited to hear it's an 8-minute song for good reason. Because you don't want it to end once it starts, Sean. And the song is called Bending Hectic.
Too bad we can't listen to it.
I know, dude. That's one reason I was going to act like I was listening to it. Bending Hectic, The Smile. Bending Hectic. The song is like a sunrise and a sunset met up one day and gave each other a nice smooch. That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
Wow.
It's transcendent, this song. It's the best song I've ever heard live. I'm sitting up in the balcony, quiet, right? Hands on my knees. had already tried earlier in the show when the first guy comes out, the saxophonist, and he comes out and goes, "Hey guys, so we're in the Masonic Theater. It's pretty spooky here, huh? A lot of history. Maybe we can make some of that. Maybe we can unlock some of that right here tonight." And I go, "Oh yeah, you got a key?" From the balcony.
Dusty.
And it just came out of me before I realized what I was saying. And nobody really looked, but I am sitting by two people that are being quiet. Like, they're very calm. And I'm just like, what are you guys doing at a rock concert? First of all, that was in my mind. But I didn't bring it up. I didn't even talk to him. Didn't even look at him in the eye. Ultimately, he plays his set. He does his thing. And I say to myself, quiet, bud. Let other people enjoy the show. And then that Bending Hectic comes on, and I sit there. And I don't know if you've seen Elvis. Have you seen the movie Elvis?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, the girls scream out, and they get, "Ah! Ah!" You remember that part?
I'm familiar with the phenomenon.
A little give and take, just trying to get a little bit of, I love you so much, buddy. I do. I love you. And all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I go, God damn! What am I listening to? That's how good this song was live. That's all I can tell you. That I had to yell out loud. I couldn't not yell. It was insane, dude.
You were overwhelmed.
I was overcome with the passion of this song. I know Radiohead has some amazing music, okay? I know it.
Yeah, they sure do.
This song could eclipse all of those songs, bud.
Wow.
It has the guitar wonderings of Johnny Greenwood. And he's a master guitarist. And my man slides notes. It's called Bending Hectic because they bend them notes like you ain't ever heard them bent before, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get into this fire thing. I just had to. I had to share my excitement before we get too deep into.
I got a quick question though.
Hot go for questioning.
So I'm imagining that the crowd's a little subdued, listening to what's being said about the dark history, and
that's at the beginning of the show.
Unlock the magic. So there's a little bit of a hush over the crowd, and then very loudly
or quietly from the stage,
from the balcony. Oh, you got the key?
Oh, you got the key, huh?
The Majestic Theater is not, even though you're in the balcony, it's not a big space.
Masonic Theater.
Oh, Masonic. Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm. Makes a little more sense now.
Because Radiohead at the Majestic, that would have been like a super
intimate
show.
God. That would have been like being on stage with them.
Okay.
I mean, that's how close you are at the Majestic.
Yeah. So you don't think that they on stage heard you yell, "Do you have the key?"
I don't think so. I think there
was no reaction.
It was one guy. It was at the very beginning. He was wearing all white, and they have these new HD. I want to call them almost. What's the color of the sun? Fuchsia? Is that the color we can't see when it comes out?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Fusion.
Well,
Fusion.
Fusion. Yeah.
And it's fuchsia.
I thought you were saying the sun is fuchsia.
It is.
Clearly, it's not.
I mean, it's yellow and it's all these other things. But when you look at it through a spectrometer, it's fuchsia.
Okay. All right.
So somehow they got the sun to glow on this guy. The lights are crazy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's a fuchsia. So yeah. All right. I can see that.
And it's so bright and it's so whatever. Our eyes can barely see it. But so he had an outline around him, and I was like, man, I see auras. When really it was just lights. But I sure do like to think that I see auras now. Anyway.
Anyway, hey, as long as I'm on
you are
YouTube here.
Go ahead. We can't see that, but go ahead.
Hold on.
Just wanted to give you a quick update. Kai is a big humper. He's overstimulated, literally humping everyone. And a lot of the dogs did not like it. He is social, but he's more concerned about humping everybody than he is playing. And just wanted to give you a quick update. Kai is a big humper. He's overstimulated. And a lot of the dogs.
This guy. What's the matter with my friend, you guys?
That dog really makes me laugh.
Here's the thing, is I can't tell if he's trolling me because I send him so many videos that I don't know for sure if this is him getting back at me by showing me one video over and over again.
A video that I sent?
Yeah, that he likes. It's like, guy, okay, watch more videos. He watched one video last week and he's like, oh, I found the Holy Grail.
Of course I'm trolling you. Obviously I'm trolling you.
Well, it hurts. I was on TikTok last night. I was on TikTok last night with 80,000 people till 4 a.m. The night before, I was on TikTok with 94,000 people. And yet I don't make no money.
Wow.
That's like 4 or 5 Madison Square Gardens at once that I'm entertaining.
And you don't get any money for that, though?
No!
Did any of them buy merch?
Okay, so here's the thing, Sean. We might be onto something. Because on Twitter Spaces this week, my friend, I call him my friend now. Okay, he's my friend. Hey, Cristiano! That's his handle. He's now has the record of having consecutive Twitter Spaces for over a year. And I think he's up to going to be 140 when he gets to Detroit. He's coming to Detroit at the end of the month. And I guess I'm going to be going to NFT Detroit, so I'll have to do some videos and reports on that. But ultimately, guess what my guy came up with? He came up with a way for me to make a living, guy. He said, why don't you take canvases, put paint on it, then roll your head in a different color, put it on the canvas, and it'll spell hi, essentially, and then sell them as one-offs and auction them off. And I said, this is so crazy, it might just make me a bajillionaire finally.
Right.
My most embarrassing. Go ahead.
That actually heightens what I was just thinking too, because when I had said, get him to buy merch, and then I was like, what Dustin should do is take a picture of the top of his head and put that on a t-shirt.
Ooh.
But this is even better.
Better, because it's art.
It's art.
People will pay so much money for art that's worthless. They're paying for a little thing that's like this, and the guy goes, and it's just dots. It's just a dot. It's nothing. 80 grand. They go, would you pay 80 grand for this? That's how much it's worth. I said, who's got 80 grand? Little Luke can pay for that.
Huh.
Yeah, I think.
That's a great idea, buddy. It's a great idea.
I know, right? Hey, Cristiano, follow him for that. Now let's get into these fires.
Oh, yeah, the fires.
Okay. So, first of all, we got It's Arson.
Okay.
And then we got I'm Just a Pothead.
I'm just a pothead.
I'm just a pothead. Gosh, that feels like that's a good way to pronounce it, or to spell it for sure. Point fire. Mark yourself up a bonus point for the spelling of pothead.
Yeah, it's great. Rose. Early rose.
Early rose. Oof. No electrical storms man-made. I'm going to have to show you the video. You don't want to look it up, right?
What? About the fires?
Mm-hmm.
What am I looking at?
Satellite photos of Canada fires. And it shows literally. I felt like I saw puff white, 2 or 3, 4, and then all this smoke, and it's just all going that way. All at the same time. So let's see here. Point fires on point. Similar to the 80-plus Christian churches burned desecrated due to Trudeau's unverified claims of indigenous genocide. Not a single body has been located. 80? Wait a second. This is a story I don't know. Is Point Fire trying to tell us they burned 80 churches in Canada?
Yeah, I haven't heard this story either. I mean, I haven't heard about the churches being burned, but I have heard these stories of the churches that had the schools to convert Indians to Christian ways, where they were allegedly abused and tortured and killed. That also happened in the United States. 1923, which is one of the prequels to Yellowstone. It's the one that features Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford of Indiana Jones's Indiana Jones.
Oh, that one?
Yeah. Also of Star Wars's Han Solo.
I think you want to make me crazy.
Or Han. But one of the storylines covers one of these re-education centers, Christian re-education centers. So,
well, that's crazy because they haven't
apologized for it recently.
That's pretty crazy that people go to violence, go out of their way for violence in any form is just remarkable. Like, what are we talking about?
But that's what Point Fire is saying, though, that no bodies have been recovered. And
genocide does mean more than 4, right? 5, right? More than when does it become a genocide? Is there a number?
I think genocide is when the whole people are mostly wiped out. That's technically a genocide.
So there's no like, oh, we crossed over to 1 million people. Now we in a genocide.
Yeah, it might be a percentage of people's cited.
So in your Kevin Costner film, they do some genociding.
What's that?
In your Kevin Costner show, they do some genociding.
This is the Harrison Ford show.
Harrison Ford does some genociding.
No, they focus mostly on the re-education aspects of it. Although,
in retrospect, you're feeling a little guilty now.
What? It sounds terrible.
Doesn't sound fun.
It sounds terrible.
Doesn't sound fun.
So, what am I looking for here? These
Canada fires. I'll look it up too. I bet you I beat him.
Yep, probably.
Blame Canada for the Canada fires. That's a song from South Park, not me.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Here we go.
Thank you.
Look, Sean.
Wowzers.
That's pretty shocking. You haven't seen that.
Nova Scotia, New Jersey, and the entire western side of Canada.
Look at that.
All of southeast Quebec just caught on fire, guys.
All southeast of Quebec. And that's like a state, I think. He's not listening. I'm like, oh, I thought I'd get called out for that.
What did you say?
Exactly, Sean. You're not even paying attention. Hi, welcome to Meltdown Island, everyone. This is the show where Dustin and Sean sit around and we laugh at each other. We enjoy, celebrate ourselves. And we try to talk about some news here and there. About the world that's melting down around us. We do a segment called News Grunts where we look at news and just grunt.
Like, that's what I was looking for, those images of New York City.
Oh, look, we was on 2 different sides of the same coin story. Impressive. What's up?
Wow, that's super apocalyptic, huh?
Yep. Super apocalyptic.
Wow, look at that one. That's almost fuchsia, a little fuchsia. There's some fuchsia in there.
Hey, Michael, Mr. Scarecrow, I have not shared this. So if you could share this with the Discord, you'd be doing me a great service because I've been too in the
really
weeds.
was just liked, but I sure do like to see it.
Let's create a climate emergency so they believe the climate agenda.
Let's create a climate emergency.
I mean, did they catch the people who started it? Was it like a group? Or was it people? Was it? I mean, it looked very coordinated. Like T-4, 3, 2, burn. I mean, it looked like that because that was a map of the world. So that was a big area. Thank you. That was a big area, Sean.
Big area.
Was. So I tried to download the show and edit it this week. Blurry as heck. I was wrong.
Yeah.
It was blurry as heck, which really, really does suck. Because I don't know what to do.
You're a little bit blurry there too.
I'm crystal clear here, which just drives me crazy. I definitely don't need to feel like I need to pay an extra $700 a month, or not a month, but a year to do the show. That feels like a little much. You're guessing Antifa or Trantifa.
Antifa or Trantifa. Is that a new thing, Trantifa?
That's a brand new word. I just don't see anti-fascists as... Anti-fascists usually are against fascism. It's recent. It's recent. I'm sorry, but it slowly came to me.
That's what that means.
It slowly came to me, and I realized that the Woods have never told anyone what to do. The Woods haven't demanded anything from anyone. They're like the Amish. They just do what they do. They stay in their lane. We can't blame the Amish. Now for global warming, can't blame the Amish this time. Do not blame the Amish. I need to really come up with that song. I really need to write out that song because I think it's a great song. Great to see you, Sean.
Great to see you too, Mr. Scarecrow. Welcome to the show.
And I think that I would have an objection to Trantifa. Yeah, I think I would. A, it's a funny sounding word. Okay. B, seems like there's some pointedness behind it.
Yeah, definitely sounds pretty pointed.
I have friends. I have friends who are trans. I have friends who are trans, and they're just not. You think of me as nonviolent. They're less violent than I am, and I'm afraid to go outside. Yet I think I could take them in a fight or something. Like I don't even understand where that comes from, but I'm just saying that they're more peaceful than I am. Like I'm over here yelling and hollering, and they just make memes, which are hilarious. But I just don't see that.
I'd be more inclined to think that it's a
psyops.
Cigarettes being thrown out of cars.
At the same time, Sean.
Campfires that have gotten out of control.
At the same time. That's the thing. You want me to show you the video again?
Yeah, I see it, buddy. Also sparks from trains or cars or
you're
chains.
making.
I mean,
you're going a far way.
There's a lot of things that could start fires, but if there's an unusual amount of dryness in the entire region, it seems that all of these little things that might not have started fires before could be starting fires.
So you're saying Trump was right and we should go and clean up and rake the forests?
I mean, that's obviously the best thing.
Rake? He wanted to go out and rake the forest. It's not a bad idea. I mean, look, put America to work.
I mean, let's be honest. It would be effective to not have so much of that dry kindling there, but it's just not very pragmatic.
Not very pragmatic. To be fair, though, what did America do?
It would totally work.
The WPA, we had the work program, right? And what they do, they went up there and planted a forest full of trees in the upper Michigan, right? They're in rows.
Mm-hmm.
Perfectly symmetrical. Amazing. Why don't we do that even more?
I think one of the things that was frustrating about all of these sentiments opposed to the change in climate is that in the 80s, everybody was on board. Everybody agreed that this was an issue. Even the oil companies
That's it.
had done their own studies and said the climate is changing.
Now
radically.
now we're going to hire the people that made everyone think it was okay to smoke cigarettes to sell oil.
Right. 20 years of misinformation has muddied the waters such that nobody can agree on anything. And this problem is going to continue to get worse.
Except that I'm funny. I think we can all agree. I'm definitely funny.
I think we can all agree.
I am the unifier of a world. Thank you.
I think the oil industry is so entrenched in government bureaucracies around the world that we are going to burn every last drop.
Let's not forget that there is an oil leak at the bottom of the Gulf of Mexico that BP never closed. It's still going gagoosh, gagoosh, gagoosh. And if I went on the last cruise, final cruise I'll ever go on, was in the Mediterranean, in the Gulf of Mexico. And you can not only smell oil, but you can just see it. The moonlight hits it and it's just like oil slicks everywhere. It was not romantic.
Yeah, it's hard on the environment, to be sure.
Thank you. Trudeau's protected Muppets. You talk about furries? Because the one thing you got to get up for furries is they are in it. They're in that costume.
I know a lot of furries, and you think I'm nonviolent? Furries are some of the most nonviolent people I've ever met.
Yep, they don't even want their face seen. But they can barely breathe in there. You realize it's hard to breathe.
Well,
they could be mopped clean. They're so sweaty.
Hey, pugs can barely breathe, and they are adorable.
Touché. Sean, aluminum and magnesium from the chemtrails. Oh, listen to this. Why are they so difficult to extinguish? So you're saying, this is interesting. This is a fascinating take. The aluminum and magnesium that they're putting in the sky to block the sun's, would you call them ray beams?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Would you call the sun's ray beams?
Yeah, sun rays.
Sun ray beams.
I think that's pretty common terminology.
The aluminum and the magnesium in the chemtrail is supposed to block it, bounce it back out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then what? They fall to the ground?
Yeah, I'm not sure about the aluminum and magnesium. I haven't seen much about that. But why are they so difficult to extinguish? California saw the exact same thing being out here in California.
Australia, too.
With the fires they've had the last, 5-10 years, in record-setting fire seasons. And that's one of the things the firefighters are saying, too. They're like, we've never seen fires like this before. They're burning hotter. They're more destructive.
And you think it's because there's too much kindling on
Well, it's because the air is dry and there is too much kindling. Sure. The stuff is dried out. And the only solution is, I mean, barring reducing greenhouse emissions, obviously the next best choice is raking the forests. Problem in Canada is they've got so many forests.
It's mostly
They got too much forest. It's just impractical. It's really mostly forest. Well, I don't know, maybe half forest, half tundra, really.
You think it
I
could
don't
be
know
corporations wanna say, let's give us some of this forest so we can build more cities? Is it in a place that could connect a couple of metropolitan places? Great question, Dustin. Watched an interview with a retired parks firefighter with 20 plus years of experience. He claims arson. I'm telling you, from my visual, from Dustin's take, hot takes. Yeah, they all start at the same time, and the clouds all rise at the same time. So, I just to reiterate, I mean, it looks like arson to me. Now, I'm no arson specialist, but look all of this down here.
Yeah.
Look at that.
No, that's a lot. I mean, it's crazy. I'm not denying that.
Here's something. Did a meteor fall and break up in the atmosphere and crash, causing multiple fires there we go. That's a good idea, Dustin. You're doing great, Dustin. I'm really trying to give myself positive reinforcement today.
40 years ago, when all of this stuff was coming to light, it was one of the things that they said is going to be a symptom of the rising temperatures is more forest fires.
You going back historical
more
now.
Hotter forest fires, more destructive forest fires, larger forest fires. And now we're starting to see it. I mean, this was completely predicted. And that was at a time where people were actually committed to trying to stop this from happening.
Yeah, trying to save the world then. They were trying a little bit.
I mean, this is Reagan. This is George H.W. Bush. These are not liberal people. And they were like, yeah, this is going to be a problem.
Yep.
Some of our best NASA scientists studied it. So they said this is what's going to be a problem. You know, these fires, they burn so intensely, and they're so large, they create their own storm systems. They create their own weather.
You're saying that the government can have a weather machine?
And I'm not saying it's not arson, because arson happens all the time. I'm not saying it's not arson, but the fact of the matter is that the weather's been so dry, the forests are so dry that when fires do start, they're going to spread fast, and then embers are going to fly through the air.
Start other fires.
They're going to start spreading other fires.
Let's not forget Australia. Australia almost burned down. Australia almost got all burnt up. The whole country, the whole continent.
Right.
A couple of years ago.
Millions of animals killed.
They thought they was going to lose the koala bear forever.
The lovely koala almost wiped out.
That and syphilis. Why koala bears going to Why? Dustin, I also have a couple of trans friends. They have credibility and integrity. They despise that their community has been infiltrated. Well, I definitely got to admit that there are, what do they call them? Spooks. There are people that go out from the government and rabble rouse. It's the same thing about my theory about hospitals. We live in a country where we have for-profit healthcare. So the time I got beat up, I was walking one moment. I was walking on going to go to bed, and the next moment I was in the hospital with a bill for $16,000. And my insurance company said, "You don't have to pay all that. We saved you a discount of $4,000. Now it's only $12,000." Oh, awesome! Luckily, my Obamacare kicked in. Thanks, Obama, in a non-ironic way, because without Obamacare, I would be even worse than I am now. And I'm pretty bad.
It's hard to imagine. It's hard to
I
imagine.
know. So, but to have gone from that point when I had healthcare to now having no healthcare, where to go? Which one of the parties doesn't want healthcare for Americans? Is it the party that gave us healthcare, or is it the party that hates Obama so much that they fought 300 times to repeal it? How many times? More than 200. Maybe 300 was in, but more than 100. More than 5 is too much for me. Now it's starting, I'm feeling the emotion of that, and I'm starting to hate it.
Yeah, it's super frustrating.
Did you know that right now in America, back in 100 years ago, during the Great Depression, the amount of percentage of money that they made, it would be considered in today's money per one American at $88,000 a year. Who makes $88,000 a year these days? Nobody. So it's worse now than it's ever been in history. And like I said, my movie, which is a fake thing, there's only 62 people. 62 people, not even 100. We're going to do the Forbes 500. Don't even have to go 500. If we take out 62 people, you guys. Hey, would you take out one person to save $1 million? Would you take out 62 people to save $8 billion? At a certain point, I would. And it would be now. JK.
I mean, ultimately, you take out those 62 people, their resources will just then be distributed among 600 people. Their family, their heirs.
And then we'll say to those people,
go away.
You want this to stop, right? You want to keep playing games. You want to keep playing games. You want to keep playing games. That's my impression.
I mean, it's why you would be assassinated, Dustin, if you really did try and do
anything, any of my ideas.
Democracy.
Yeah. But Sean.
Yes.
Let's go to the tape. Time for TikToks, because there's a TikTok I sent you. Guy talks about BlackRock. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. BlackRock.
That's what I said. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, this guy. Sean, previous arson was in Fort McMurray. The site now houses the largest mosque in North America, situated right in the middle of our oil fields. Wow, that sucks for their mosque.
Yeah, right? It's the air quality of that mosque has got to be
not
perfect.
The best. Hey, do you think that they put them there because it's such a horrible place to have a mosque, and they're like, all right, you can have over there? I mean, I'll be honest with you, there's so many ways to look at any one thing these days that it really makes you beg to question, like, which is the right one? Because I feel like that's the one thing we all kind of want, is to be on the right side of history. I know I do. I don't want to be the people from Selma, Alabama, beating up Dr. Martin Luther King, who had a dream. That's not me. I don't want to be that person that did that and had dogs bite people because they wanted to have a vote. And I feel like similar things happen these days, but in different ways.
Did you
Oh, I had something to say. Here you go. Oh, you know what you're gonna say? Go ahead. I forgot this one already twice.
Control and submission? Try to gain access?
Well, that's what I keep trying to say with the blockchain voting. Everybody got their own vote, their own voice, and it's on the blockchain, and you can see it. Not in a bad way, but so you could be like, my vote counted. There it is. No dead people can have blockchain access. No dead people. So there goes that one, right? Solves one issue. My buddy Sean, about global warming and about Florida. Okay, listen to this one.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I was in Florida a month ago. They're building brand new skyscrapers down there. hundreds of millions of $1 billion in new properties are going up currently. Why would a bank allow them to build or loan them the money to build and to continue to build in an area where it's supposed to be flooded in a year, 5, 10, whatever? Like, they would be like, no, we're not going to give you that money if that was going to happen. It's all a hoax. And I'm like, I mean, I don't think it all is a hoax. Why can't it be somewhere in the middle? Why is it all going to be all or everyone's all or nothing these days, right?
I mean, that anybody is saying it's a hoax anymore, that just goes to show how effective 40 years, 30 years of propaganda by the oil, funded by the oil industry, how effective it's been.
You're right.
And it's exactly why we as a species will soon enough be extinct.
Listen,
Because
we've done it on Easter
We're
Island.
not smart enough to save ourselves.
If
We're not
history
smart
tells us
enough.
anything, look at Easter Island. There was a thriving nation on Easter Island. What happened? They killed their ecosystem. They died. They went away. We're doing the same thing. We're repeating history. That's the shocking thing to me. The fact that we've seen it happen before. We know our mentality. We know what we do. We know we can destroy ourselves by destroying our own piece of the world. And yet, no lessons have been learned. No updates. The guy who invented the microscope also discovered, because he could look down at these little things with these microscopes, and he would send different waveforms, different frequencies of waveforms, and the microscopic atoms, the microscopic material would be destroyed. Not all was the same frequency, not all was the same disease, but he destroyed cancer. He destroyed all of these, so many diseases. And where did they go? Right in the same shelf where they put in Indiana Jones. They put it on the same shelf above, right above the Ark of the Covenant, bud. Here we go. What usually causes forest fires? Great question.
Lightning usually causes lightning strikes, as Point Fire points out.
Yep.
But also man-made things. Like I said, someone throwing a cigarette out. Campfires gone awry. Sparks from a train.
The last big one that was in either, I think maybe in California, but was a gender reveal party with a big explosion that ended up turning into a fire that consumed a whole heap of a mess, to the point where I think those have been
as man-made for sure.
Well, I was trying to explain how man-made, like not going out and just building a fire, but just stupid things like that, where they go, "Oh, we're gonna find out what our baby gonna be, but we're not gonna have a world for it to live in."
Also, a big issue out here in California. Some of the bigger fires have been started by PG&E, the electrical lines. Electrical lines blow over and they spark and they start up fires.
Why do they blow over? They ain't got wind resistant.
because the infrastructure is underfunded.
Yep, because we've given all the money to billionaires and we haven't taken care of ourselves. I saw a video. of how much and arson. I saw a video of how much Elon Musk has. And remember how a couple years ago it was the rice thing and one piece of rice, and I don't even have a piece of rice. The newest thing is you take a stack of bills that fill up about to the top of his feet. Then you take that and it makes a pallet that's above him. And then you take all of the pallets that you can, stack them on top of each other, and it goes to space is how much money he has. Oh my God. That could fix infrastructure. That could fix so many problems. But one man has it. Because why? Because 100 years ago, in the Great Depression, Roosevelt came in and said, if you're in the 1%, you get taxed 90%. If you're in the 90%, you get taxed 10%. And ever since that moment, there has been an ongoing psychological war on the poor in order for rich people to get a bigger percentage of the pie. to the point now where their money reaches to space and we don't even have enough to go above our feet.
Yeah, I saw that one for sure. Piling up all of Elon Musk's money.
I sent it, yep. Is it all from climate change?
No, I mean, forest fires have always happened.
Yep.
And they will always happen.
And it's like
the thing
fires,
is,
they had
climate change improves the conditions under which these things can burn,
thrive,
and it creating, especially out here in California where we had so much drought for so long, they would go without rain, and that's one of the things that best puts out a forest fire is rain. Well, when you're in the middle of a mega drought, you don't get that much rain. The fires just keep burning and burning and burning. So climate change is not immediately to blame for any of these catastrophes, but invariably they're making these catastrophes more dangerous and more frequent.
Great answer. Mega drought, you'll always be just a drought to me. Good old mega drought. Mega drought's killing me. My kids had dental appointments today. They were still trying to enforce masking. Oh, wow. Well,
I mean, it's a private company, and this is
dentists wear a mask. Dentists wear a mask.
Anecdotal stories like this come out all the time, and I hear them from conservative pundits, and it's like these are also the pundits that feel that companies should be able to do whatever they want. This is a private company; they do whatever they want, and if you don't want to wear a mask, you go to a different dentist. Mm. And if you say, "Oh well, my kids have always been going to this dentist. We really like him," well, apparently you don't.
Don't wear a mask.
You don't respect his decision to want to wear masks.
And to be honest, every time I've gone to the dentist puts on a mask before he gets all up in my mouth, and I'm always like, "Thank you," because it's almost like you'd be kissing me, and I don't need all that. I don't even like getting in there with my teeth, let alone.
Although, yes, I concede there is something innately ridiculous about something that requires going into the mouth to require a mask.
Thank you.
I mean, that is, to be sure, I concede that is comical. Arson, that's what I was reading, yes.
Yep. I heard that the new variant was spreading. Uh-oh.
I've lost track of all these variants.
Yeah.
I think most people have. I don't know that anybody is really paying attention anymore.
There's a big blow up on Twitter this week between a guy who is they call it, listen to this, they don't call it a vaccine anymore. Guess what they call it? The jab.
The jab.
Because there's been so many people that have gotten, I don't know, maybe we just got taken down because I said the word vaccine, but you're not allowed to talk about, you get shadow banned or you get banned outright for misinformation, right, on social media these days. And talking about something like that, they've changed the vocabulary. So now we talk about it as a jab. And a jab researcher, it's turning into 1984. This kind of stuff is turning into 1984. We've already been doing it with TLD, don't read, TLDR, or LOL. We've already been doing the shortening of speech. And now they're changing speech to double speak with jab. Now that Mr. Scarecrow is terrifying. Because we're going to have to make love in a forest. It's the only place. At least in the book. I don't know. I watched the movie and I was like, she's got boosh! Boosh! Mr. Scarecrow, Canada government has destroyed almost 2 centuries of climate data as it disapproved the 2
their
centuries.
Agenda.
Who's there? The 2 centuries of climate data? I'm getting particular about words these days, and about sentences. Last night, a guy goes on my live. He was like, he makes these stories up. He's delusional, and I'm like, I'm delusional, or you just have no fucking idea what you're talking about. And the guy stayed in my live for another 2 hours and would pop up anytime he thought he had a gotcha. Why? You got nothing better to do? It's wild to me. Anyway. Miss Scarecrow, they only claimed isolated COVID-19 samples. They only claimed isolated COVID are computer generated. You saying AI is trying to take us out?
Probably. Sean, it was entertaining. Post-op weren't masking freezies, and masks aren't compatible.
It's funny. Okay, I'm just going to cut a little hole in your mask so I can get in your mouth. Party people! Bam, 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 bam. Y'all ready for this? Da, 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 da.
Welcome to the program, Kara.
Welcome, Kara.
We're dealing with a lot of chaos right now.
The world is melting
We're glad
down.
you're here.
Everywhere you look. Oh, I had some trolls last night. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. One guy said, oh, let's see, you're in a bunch of pain and you'd be on TikTok talking about it? I doubt it. And I said, you doubt it. So there could be a chance that I'm telling the truth. But you just don't know for sure. Thanks for sharing. My head doesn't give a two shits. One girl was like, guess my age, I don't care what your age is. I was really in pain last night. I was really having a rough one. And I just didn't give a, I was done. I was done with foolishness and I was done with BS's. And I started talking directly to the trolls and going, and I brought out the receipts. I said, explain this. How come this is this? How come this is this? You idiot. God. Why are you still here? Why are you still here? Blame Canada. Blame Canada for all of their fun and nudist beaches and all of their people who eat peaches. Blame Canada. I cannot believe what time it is.
Right?
I feel like we just got here and just started talking.
Right?
I know Carrie just got here. Just started talking. So that's why I feel that way too now. Sean, I could just talk to you all week long, bud.
All week long.
All night.
All week long.
All night. Ooh, yeah. All night. You didn't do the oh yeah. I was waiting. But I was like, he's not going to do it.
I was reading Kara's comment.
What? This?
Yes.
I am so
I'm
sorry.
so sorry I wasn't on.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I am not in a good way myself lately. So I've been isolating a lot.
We just played chicken. We just played read chicken.
You totally did.
I wanted you to read.
I was waiting for you to start reading so that I could read over yours as well.
And the delay made us both start at the same time. Stop at the same time. And I said, I'm done. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to let him do it. I'm going to wait him out. And you can tell Sean was waiting. He was hesitant.
Oh, I was waiting. Their show doesn't start till I am here.
Queen.
Well, a rose to Kara for making it.
Thank you, Kara.
Albeit late.
Albeit late. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try to add a screen. I'm going to try to add this. Oops, not this.
Oops, not this.
Oops, not this. Okay, here we go. Select all, and then I go TikTok. Yep. Okay, here we go. Pulling it up.
Your butts.
Hang on to every butt you have. What? Blame Cat. Man, that song's so good. I'm sorry.
So good.
They write good songs. America, can I get a yeah?
Yeah.
Making the way for the mother. Yeah. America. Here we go. So this guy is a mind blower. Let's see if I get this right. Boop, boop. Boopity boop.
There's a movie that if you watch it.
Plot twist, is BlackRock actually a good guy? Let me explain. In just over 1 month, I've grown this TikTok account to well over 500,000 viewers.
A month!
This is what a graph of my follower growth looks like. And I've done so largely examining how BlackRock controls the vast majority of the market. And I've tried to be objective and admit when I'm wrong. And Larry Fink has said some things that we need to address. I'm for real like having an existential crisis over here. But I think this might be one of the most important videos I've ever made. Because I've been using BlackRock as an entry point to slowly build to a much bigger thesis about how banking is controlling our world and what we need to do about it. But Larry Fink just came out and said it at the beginning of this year on stage to millions of people. He said my exact thesis. And not in any uncertain terms either. He used the word decentralized ledger. What Larry Fink is suggesting is literally a kill shot to the global banking cartel. So there's been a lot of hubbub lately with this whole BlackRock starting a Bitcoin ETF thing, and that's a whole other ball game. We're gonna let crypto Twitter cover that for now. But it got me digging into what Larry thinks about.
ETF is something I just learned about. You know about ETFs, Sean?
Yes.
It's something that's grouped together, you invest in it, and you get like monthly income from it, right?
Right.
How come you haven't told me about this before, bud?
I mean, there are literally so many things that you don't know that I do. It would be impossible. It would be mathematically impossible.
About crypto and what Larry thinks about decentralization and watching some interviews. And it turns out, at the beginning of this year, he actually got on stage with Andrew Sorkin and the New York Times and laid it all out. Watch this clip. And yes, at the end, I'll explain what this all means.
I believe the next generation for markets, next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement.
Look at that screen.
And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem. You don't need trust banks.
Does that disrupt you eventually? Because
Did you just hear that? Holy
we
shit,
don't
Larry.
need banks,
So let's
he
break
said.
this down
We
real
don't
quick.
need
'Cause the
banks,
problem with
he
crypto
said,
is a lot of
John.
people think it's just a casino and they don't actually understand what it is and why it was invented. And absolutely, a huge amount of crypto is just scams and casino and bullshit. But you need to understand the fundamentals of what we're talking about. Because this is literally the only way we escape the banks controlling our whole lives with digital currency for the rest of our lives. To clarify, central bank digital currencies are not the same as cryptocurrencies. They're very different. So in about 3 minutes, I'm going to explain
We got
the history
similar
of money,
hair.
the history of crypto, why central banking is a problem, and what we're going to do about it. You ready? We already learned that money was invented more or less to keep track of people that owed each other things. This is also why writing was invented, to keep ledgers so that people could keep track of who owed who what. This is the fundamental technology that allows humans to cooperate. All throughout history, ledgers have been kept by a centralized party. When you're trading physical goods, it's not that complicated. Alice has something that Bob wants. She gives the thing to Bob. Deal's done. She can't trade it twice because there's only one thing and she doesn't have it anymore. Once you're trading digital goods though, what's going to stop Alice from giving Bob that digital thing and then just having a copy of it on her hard drive and giving it to Frank and giving it to Ted?
Which sounds like Wall Street short selling. Oh, we have stocks. Here's some fake stocks. Oh, we don't really own them, but I'll sell you the... yeah, I also have a bridge in New York. It's called the Brooklyn Bridge, and it's worth a lot. I could sell it to you.
Digitization of finance has been an issue ever since it started. And the solution we've pretty much all relied upon up until now is having someone keep a ledger in the middle. And this is a bank. Some centralized party in the middle keeps the ledger of what everyone's accounts holds. And we trust that centralized authority, usually a bank, to honestly keep the books and not manipulate anything and make sure that everything works out correctly.
Sean, as an ex-banker, can you confirm?
That banks are criminals?
No, that
Yeah,
they keep the records of everything.
Yeah, they keep very, very accurate records.
Can confirm.
Problem is, when you let fraudulent pieces of shit like this guy start keeping the ledger in the middle, things get pretty fucked up pretty fast. Sam is famous for starting a multi-billion-dollar crypto exchange that was centralized and then giving himself and his girlfriend and all of his buddies at the company a backdoor into all of the customer funds and using them for whatever he wanted. And that's just one example of why it's really bad to have one person managing the ledger in private in the middle of all of our financial transactions.
Your name is Sam
Let's not start talking about JP Morgan Chase. So what's blockchain and why does it solve this problem? Well, you heard Larry Fink say the words distributed ledger, right? Well, that's the solution. You have your ledger on a network that is shared by users just like you and me. And we all together keep a copy of that ledger on all of our nodes. And we all double check it together. Decentralization. Now, when Alice wants to give Bob something, she actually communicates that first to the decentralized network, and it gets checked by all of us together. And then when we all agree that the ledger is correct, we then all collectively send Bob the transaction, and everyone's ledgers update together to make sure it worked. This is how we take back power over the money. Because with this system, you don't need banks. And when Bitcoin was invented by some mysterious guy named Satoshi Nakamoto, who we don't even know who they are, it was originally invented.
Did you know that Satoshi Nakamoto could still be, who's the guy who invented Apple phones? Steve Jobs? They're saying it could be Steve Jobs. Why? Because he stopped, Satoshi Nakamoto stopped communicating in 2011, and then all of a sudden he hasn't communicated at all. And that's when he died from cancer. So they think that it might actually be secretly. Just an update.
Just to do this with money. But the game has changed, because what's to stop you from making this decentralized ledger in the middle actually be computer programs and code that does more than just act as money? Why not put applications in there? If you were alive during the year 2021, you probably heard a lot about cryptocurrency scams collapsing to zero. But you probably didn't realize that every single one of those cryptocurrencies that collapsed, or exchanges like FTX that collapsed, they were all centralized. They were not DeFi. Decentralized finance is when you put code onto this distributed ledger that does banking for us. So the code does the lending, the borrowing, the investing. It does all the things that banks do, but without the need for a centralized party controlling that power. Instead, it's code that we can all read and validate and make sure it works the way we want it to work. Larry Fink literally said on stage that he's bullish on this, and this is the bank killer. This is the thesis. So I'm gonna make a lot more videos about this in the coming days, but I kind of see 3 possibilities for assessing this information. Maybe 4. Like maybe it's a giant deep fake and the whole world is made up and he didn't really say any of this stuff, but I don't think that's real. So if Larry Fink actually said this, option number 1 is he's telling the truth and this is actually what he believes. And in that case, he has just like undermined the entire financial system and is actually not on their team at all. Option number 2 is he's playing some deep 3D chess and he's saying what we want to hear, but there's actually ulterior motives that we need to dig into deeper to understand what's going on. The Bitcoin community has a lot of theories right now about how maybe he's trying to subvert Bitcoin and take over the entire network with his own monetary power. That could be. Or the third option is maybe there's something going on that's even more complex or more confusing that we haven't even speculated on yet. And that just means we have to dig more. But it's kind of weird that he would come out on stage and literally say DeFi is the way.
I think he lost his count. I think that was actually.
I was going to say, did he say? I never heard number 3.
I think he combined it 3 and 4. First, it was he's doing something nefarious. We don't know for sure. We'd have to dig deeper. And then it was, or he's trying to control Bitcoin because they're buying a bunch of it up. And it's ultimately going to go into these ETFs. So in other words, it's going to become more of a basis of gold, digital gold, and everything else is going to be dollars or chronos. I don't know what words are.
If he was not trying to promote that idea, because that idea is deeply dangerous to the entrenched financial systems.
Go ahead. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I have to go back to screens.
I've already forgotten.
Oh, classic Sean.
Classic neurodivergent Sean.
What I'm about to show you
here
is
it
not
is.
because I want to hurt.
Did you guys?
No.
Now this gay man.
If every church in the United States decided to provide resources to help every child in foster care reconnect with their family or find a home, how many children would each church have to help? What about homeless people? How many homes would each church have to find? If you've seen my channel before, you know what's coming. Let's dig into the stats. I broke it down by state and looked it up, and I found out how many foster care children and homeless people there are in each state, and I divided it by the number of nationally recognized religious congregations. And if you had to guess, which state do you think would need its churches to help the most children, and how many?
Go ahead. Which state would have to help the most children? Just take a guess.
Which state would have to help the most children?
I'm enjoying stopping the video and talking about it. I'm enjoying this part of it right now where I stop the video and we talk.
I would say California just because it's got the most people.
Great, thank you.
How many would each church have to help? Probably California or New York, right? There are more people there and fewer churches. And how many children do you think? 14, 15, 20, 100? Well, the state is Nevada. If every congregation in Nevada provided resources to help 2.3 children find a new home or help their family get reunited with their children, there would be no children left in the foster care system. This includes children who are waiting to be adopted, children who will ideally be reunited with their parents, and all other scenarios. There are more things that churches can help with other than just getting children adopted too. This includes providing resources for rehabs for parents, therapy for parents, providing the resources to help people adopt kids. And the thing is that 2.3 children is extremely high compared to other states. In 38 states, there are more congregations than there are children in the foster care system. What would it take to help every single kid in America? All it would take is for 75% of churches to help one child. That's right. If 75% of our religious institutions helped one child each, there wouldn't be enough children to help. Wouldn't that be an interesting problem? And it's mind-blowing to me because when you look at the states that allow LGBTQ plus people to adopt, the percentage of children in foster care in these states is considerably less. So why are we spending so much time saying that we need more churches or we need more religion and targeting the LGBTQ plus community to protect our children? What about homelessness? Well, in 28 states, there are more religious congregations than there are homeless people. 28 states. If every single religious institution provided the resources for one homeless person each, that would eliminate 2/3 of the homelessness in the United States. And
I've thought this before.
Why are churches not taxed and yet they don't give back in a major way? They feed the homeless, but
They collect gifts and food for them at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
They could just build some houses and let them live in them on church property, and all of a sudden,
which is one person.
One person. One child, and then, have that one person adopt a child.
Yeah.
Holy
exactly.
Shit.
For those doing the math at home, that means that if just over half of those religious institutions help 2 people, there wouldn't be enough people left to help. Again, wouldn't that be an interesting problem? Oh, and by the way, the most recent state-by-state data about religious institutions was back in 2010. There are way more now. Back then, the total number of religious institutions was about 344,000. Today, we have 380,000 Christian churches alone. So if you're watching this video thinking, oh, but that's all religions, there aren't enough Christian churches to do it, yes, there are. Even religious institutions can do more than thoughts and prayers, and if churches wanted to find help for every child and every homeless person, they would have already done it. And yet, if every church in the United
Now this gay marriage. They telling me I gotta get gay married?
Okay, Bobby, no one's telling you gotta get gay married.
Too late!
Too late!
Hurt my buddy's feet.
Howdy.
How's the fishing? Not even a nibble. You see what these sicko liberals are making us do?
And see, before gay marriage was legalized, I could have married any lady I wanted. It cuts to now, and I'm stuck here married to Bobby.
Yep. We decided to go ahead and get it done before the government made us do it.
See, you still got the gun.
Well, the government made us do it.
Guns, though. That's the next thing the government's going to come after. Ain't that right, Z?
So we're just doing it now.
The man doesn't think it's safe to have guns in the house when you got a little kid running around.
You guys have a kid?
My dads are awesome. They're always holding hands and kissing because that's what the government wants them to do. And they say when I grow up, I can be anything I want to be. And that sexuality is fluid because that's the way things are running anyways.
Now she's going to go off and get a good Ivy League education, come back here and take my job.
It's just another immigrant taking an American job away.
I thought you were in your own business.
You adopted
I run a clinic for unwed mothers.
You're a doctor?
We make love in this bed every night. Because pretty soon there's going to be an amendment where we have to do it anyway.
We better get going. It's almost time for mosque.
What?
Oh, yeah, we're Muslim now. I like it.
He's learned Korean.
Vietnamese, they just make English the national language.
We would have to
Now
do
this
this.
gay marriage. They're telling me I gotta get gay married.
What a hot take. I'm sorry. Let's
That's
go
funny.
over here to the comments before I get too lost. Yes, he's on the money. No pun intended, or maybe all pun intended. We will be moving towards digital currency, but it won't happen until all the boomers and most of Gen Xers are gone or are invested. But we do need credit unions. Yes, I agree. I was going to say that about, well, you're not, because I saw this one, Kara. I saw this one, and I didn't read the long one. Dustin, I'm still in banking. And I was going to say, no, you're not. But I see you already said you're not and are. But we do need credit unions. They're nonprofit, and they work for people in your community. Hello, Kara. Hello, Mr. Scarecrow. All it takes is code that takes the little numbers off of the one end, like Office Space, and you have a huge way to skim the money. I don't know if I read that right. Number two. Oh, number two, with the guy. We were making numbers, and she said number two. Yeah. I tried investigating into Bitcoin, but lost, investing in Bitcoin, but lost everything. You did? What year did you do that? Because it hasn't gone to zero. It definitely goes through dips, goes ups and downs. We in a bear market. This next summer, it's going to be bull market. So these are the days to buy. I think I sent you this one. You did. You sent me some good videos for sure. The Bitcoin markets are not doing good these days. I know it's because of the market, but they are going to do better. They're going to go up.
Did you guys know that an attorney in New York used ChatGPT to site check one of his cases, turned in that brief, and all the cases that ChatGPT had given him were fake? This is Steven Schwartz. He is the attorney. So Mr. Schwartz took on a case for a client who was suing an airline for negligence.
Holy
So when
shit!
the attorney turns in a brief for the civil case that they are going to be arguing for, they have to cite a bunch of cases that are going to be relevant to their case. So he went to ChatGPT and asked for cases that would be relevant to his case. Now,
do your law job.
Go to would be Westlaw or LexisNexis or a law library. But seemingly he wanted to cut some corners, kind of reminiscent of when you're a kid and you use Wikipedia as your end-all be-all answer when you're doing an essay or something.
What I'm about to show you is not because I want to hurt people. It's not because I want to make you depressed. It's not because I want to make people sad or down on themselves. I'm only doing this because we need to bring awareness to this situation, because right now Americans are being gaslit into thinking we're just getting lazier and we're too entitled and we're expecting too much. The Great Depression is widely considered, at least where I went to school, as the worst economic time in American history. I want to show you the numbers on what the average income was during the Great Depression to now. Just for reference, the Great Depression is considered to be in this time period, 1929 to 1941. I looked at every single year and looked at what the worst year was. The worst year was 1930 economically for American households. So 1930, the average net yearly income of Americans, this is for one American, not a family, this is for one person, annually was $4,887. Well, let's look at how much money that is in today's money. I'm just gonna let this sit for a second. 1930, $4,881. I know I forgot it was a 7, whatever. 2023. This is for one person, not a family, one person. $88,000 a year in today's money. That was their depression.
That's 17.21%. I think because the tax structure has changed, that's why Elon has space money.
If that's a depression, look at what we're doing. In 2019, and this was the average income
Oh my
for one
gosh.
American.
Not
in
even
the United
half.
States.
Not even half.
Just in case you wanted to see the exact number, I went ahead and converted that over. I even rounded up to 32,000 and put it in for 2023 from 2019, and it's 38,000 a year for one American. We are in a Great Depression. I mean, I said in another video, we're in the worst economic time in American history. We have the lowest purchasing power we have ever had in American history. And they want to make it seem like I'm lying. This is the numbers. What I'm about to show you is not...
The only reason we have purchasing power at all is because of credit and credit cards.
True. True. And mine's maxed out.
Everybody's are maxed out. Outstanding credit on credit cards in the United States just hit $1 trillion.
We'll have to raise our debt ceiling.
That's just credit cards. I mean, that doesn't even count student loans, mortgages. It's all a joke.
I sure do like to laugh, but I'm not laughing.
Thorn to the economy.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Welcome to everyone's favorite part of this show, because it's the end. Roses and thorns. I'd like to start off with giving Sean a rose for being an amazing friend and collaborating host.
I accept your rose.
Thank you. Maxed out. I think Dustin's getting a thorn. Maxed out. Dustin, we need to talk about debt consolidation. I would enjoy that. Not in a way that's like, oh, I'm having a fun time, but in a way that I need to rapidly. Talk, Sean. I'm stuck in.
I already gave rose to Kara earlier for making it, albeit a little bit late. But another rose to her for being so concerned about your credit situation.
Rose to Point Fire for helping us talk about this Canada craziness.
Rose, you know Mr. Scarecrow.
Did you know they burned down 84 churches in Canada? That's crazy. That sounds crazy. If they did that here, there'd be some people in jail. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, I would agree, buddy.
Rose to Mr. Scarecrow for sharing the live for me. Roses all around for sure. What about thorns, Sean? We got any thorns? Anything we did today that maybe didn't work out? It's a little warm in the room for me. It's warm here.
I just got a thorn for the passage of time, and that it goes by too quickly.
You bring up a good point, Sean, because did you ever hear of Kazov's mirrors? I'll have to send you a video. It's shocking. You can basically, much like a slinky, if you took a slinky and pulled it all the way out, it'd be straight, like time, right? But when you use these mirrors, you can bend everything with a mirror, including time. And they go into these mirrors, you feel a certain amount of extreme fear and dread as they approach these mirrors. And they're in a what do you call it when it's in nature? Fibonacci. They're in a Fibonacci circle, okay? So you got to get into it, and then you sit there, and then all of a sudden you as you sit there, the fear goes away. If you can overcome it and let it go, then all of a sudden calm and peace. Then all of a sudden the room sort of starts to disappear, and what you're looking at in the mirror, the curvature of it all begins to disappear from your peripheral, and all of a sudden craziest things have happened that are recorded, including the guy was Russian. The year after he discovered it and came up with the theory and it got proven, he all of a sudden had a heart attack. Oops. It's crazy. What kind of videos do you watch? Sean, do you want to show Kara the kind of videos you watch? She wasn't here earlier.
Yeah. I'll give you an example of...
real quick, while you're doing that, I'd like to go ahead and allow Kara to give a thorn to capitalism. Here we go. And away. Sean, Goes.
To give you a quick update, Kai is a big humper. He's overstimulated, literally humping everyone.
I love the lip. The lip is what kills me.
He is social, but he's more concerned about. Just wanted to give you a quick update. Kai is a big humper. He's overstimulated, literally humping everyone.
You ever watch these guys?
What are they doing?
Hold on. Wait for it. They just go around shooting each other.
With what? I would not enjoy that at all.
Oh, here's one.
That's at least creative and no one got hurt. That's at least funny. The other one, I don't like.
Here's a realist. You're a feminist. Don't do it. I've been indicted.
I've been indicted.
Tell your dog to see.
Sean.
What?
Come back. Come back, Sean.
I got on a rabbit hole. Yeah, I like goofball videos.
Sean likes goofball videos. Have you seen my latest video?
I like pets. I like.
Did you see my cat video?
No. Which one?
I'm back, baby. I'm back, baby.
Today I lost. It looks like a bunch of fur. Y'all need to listen.
I like. I don't know if you've seen that guy who disguises himself as a bush, and then when people go, when people walk by, he jumps out, scares the shit out of them.
That is kind of funny. I agree. I'd like to read to you. Never mind. Sean.
What?
Can we please stop the insanity?
Yes, please. Corporations are not people.
No, they're not. They're just not people, Sean. What the fuck was that? I'd like to say this.
And hey, big government, why don't you stay out of our vaginas?
Thank you. Agreed. I'd also say this. Get money out of politics.
Yes.
Thank you. I'd also like to say this. Love you, bud.
Yeah, I love you back, pal. Nice work.
Love you, viewers. Appreciate you for hanging out with us.
Tune in next week when we see if DUSTiN can tell by the sound of a vegetable being cut what vegetable it is.
All of that and more
on
Meltdown Island. Posing.
Pose.
And I'm posing. And I'm posing. And I'm posing. And I'm doing it. And I'm watching it. And I'm looking. And I'm posing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. Can I get a point from you as well? Like we're pointing at the episode? Oh, that's great. Oh.
Bye, Kara.
Bye, Kara. Bye, Mr. Doggo. Bye, everybody else. Bye, Point of the Fire. Bye, Mr. Scarecrow. Bye, anybody else who's watching. I love you. Bye.